I'm noticing the car ahead of me slow down, and even though they didn't put on their turn signal, I could tell by their body language that they were going to turn. I noticed the hazard and I safely reacted to it by slowing down a bit. Hey, it's Jacqueline, and we are going to do a video thinking about traffic scanning. Traffic scanning is the #1 criteria that you are evaluated on your driving exam. And traffic scanning means that you can look ahead at the road and scan from right to left and back again and always know where your hazards are. A student recently used the word discern, and I thought that was a really great word to use. You're noticing hazards and you're discerning if there's something that you need to react to. Let's get out on the road and we're going to see what traffic scanning looks like, and hopefully you're going to be feeling like my passenger and you'll see what it feels like to you. So I'm noticing by checking my rear view mirror and my side mirror that the car behind me has their car door open, and that blocks my view of the left lane. So it affects my ability to do a good traffic scan. I'm going to creep up a little bit to see if I can get a little bit more visibility. And now that I can see better, I'm going to make my lane change. And that's going to be a theme while we're driving. There will be times when you don't have the best visibility from your position, and you're going to have to creep forward so that you can do better traffic scanning before you proceed. As I begin to go through an intersection, traffic scanning looks like me looking right and left to make sure that nobody needs extra time to go through the intersection. And if you do that correctly on your test, your examiner will circle the traffic scanning spot for intersections and give you full credit for safe traffic scanning. More importantly, your passenger will feel safe. That's what you're going for on your test. Making sure that your passenger understands that you see everything and that you are discerning whether or not it's a hazard. I always love when my students give me real-life examples of how something like traffic scanning relates to the way they look at the world. I'm noticing the car ahead of me slow down, and even though they didn't put on their turn signal, I could tell by their body language that they were going to turn. I noticed the hazard and I safely reacted to it by slowing down a bit. I also noticed the person getting out of their car, and I just sort of stayed back and gave them room. I'm noticing the blue car that just zigzagged back and forth without using their turn signals. And as I approach a car like that, I want to keep my eye on them. While I'm traveling down this 2-lane road, my traffic scanning includes checking the rearview mirror every now and then. And as I'm thinking about making a left lane change, I check the rearview mirror and the left mirror and my blind spot for complete traffic scanning before entering the lane. I notice the brake lights ahead, so I just slightly start to slow, and even though the light's green, I know it's going to take a minute for traffic to pick up, so I'm just hanging out. I can see in my rear view mirror that the friend behind me has their turn signal on. I notice the bicycle, the green light, the countdown on the pedestrian crossing. So traffic scanning is noticing people on the sides of the road, noticing bicycles on the road, noticing cars, making sure people are predictable, and noticing if people look a bit erratic. And all the while, it's noticing early enough that you can safely react by slowing down and stopping if you need to. I notice that the road splits here, and I'm going to go toward the right, so I'm just going to signal to let the world know my intentions. I want to get a perfect score on the speed, but since the car ahead of me is going a little slow, I'm going a little slow, and that's the perfect pace right now. Every one of these arrows with a pedestrian is reminding me to check the corners, and by noticing early, I can come to a complete stop. And by putting on my hazard lights, I let everyone around me, front and back, know that there's a hazard crossing in the street. So it's the time of day when lots of folks are walking around, either walking home from work or back and forth to the grocery store. I'm going to make a right turn at this light, and I can already tell I'm going to have to be really careful with my traffic scanning, and I'm going to have to watch out for folks who might try to make it across the street even as the pedestrian countdown is going to 0. So I'm watching the pace of pedestrians as I approach the corner. I'm gonna do my full stop because I got a yellow light turning red. And I know that when the light turns green, pedestrians are gonna pop off in just a second. So I'm not even gonna try to make a right on red. Even though it's legal to try to make a right on red, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to make it. I've got people, skateboards coming in all directions, and the safest thing for me to do is just stay in my spot, wait for the green light, and try to make it on the next turn. So I'm watching the far corner for the pedestrian that I expect will walk toward me. I'm watching this closest corner. I'm also watching around the corner to the right, expecting that people might come from behind. And I'm watching this door where people are exiting a grocery store. I know that people can pop out from any direction, and my job is to be aware. I see the friend running across. I look to the right, and I have just enough time to make the turn before the pedestrians get to that middle barrier. On a 4-lane road with a median, we are allowed to turn if pedestrians are on the other side of the median. But once they get to the middle spot, we have to yield. And all the way down the road, we're scanning. I'm enjoying the beautiful sunset. I'm checking my rearview mirror every now and then just to see who's back there. And as I prepare to make a right turn, I check mirror and blind spot, making sure it's safe before I wrap around the corner. Lots of popping parts to keep track of. That's why traffic scanning is the #1 criteria that you're going to be assessed on your test. If your examiner sees you noticing the world and watching you prepare to respond, they will feel safe. You'll get lots of positive points, and you won't lose any negative points. Thank you so much for spending this time really thinking about how traffic scanning helps everyone feel safe, especially your passenger. So with good scanning, you will notice every corner, every potential hazard. You'll be able to make really good decisions. You'll be able to be courteous, go when it's your turn, yield when you should. And you're going to put the safety of pedestrians and bicyclists as your top priority. As the driver, your job is to scan and notice and be able to safely react to any hazard in your way. Thank you so much for your attention to becoming the best driver you can be, so you can always be on the lookout and help keep people safe. Have a great rest of your day.